Maui, a 2-year-old French bulldog that presented to us for a week-long history of neck pain. The symptoms of neck pain that he's showing, he's holding his head low, he doesn't want to lift his head. You can see that his ears are pulled back, his back is arched, he's uncomfortable. He'll actually cry either when you touch him or sometimes even when you don't touch him. He's not moving his head well, he'll kind of move his whole body as opposed to move his head around. So those are all the classic symptoms of neck pain. So in a 2-year-old French bulldog, the possible causes of neck pain include a slipped disc, meningitis, infection, what we call discospondylitis. Frenchies can even get tumors at a relatively young age, and sometimes they'll also get malformations, whether it's a cyst or a misshapen bone, etc. So those are the things that we're thinking of. The plan right now for Maui is to do an MRI of his neck to determine what the cause is. Because if it's a slipped disc, with surgery, we've got about 98% chances of fixing things. If it's not a slipped disc, we want to identify it as soon as possible so that we can be on the right treatment course. So Maui's set for an MRI today and possibly a spinal tap, possibly surgery.
While the team prepared to MRI Maui's neck, Dr. Wong went in to check on the second patient of the day, Benjy. Benjy is the 8-month-old beagle who was featured on our 8th vlog that presented for difficulty walking and neck pain. Benjy was diagnosed with meningitis and was started on prednisone. He presents for his recheck. He is walking comfortably now and wagging his tail. Dr. Wong's next patient was Josie. Josie is an 8-year-old female spayed pug who was surrendered to Compassionate Pug Rescue in April. Since then, she has been wobbly in the limbs.
So the most common causes of rear limb weakness in pugs include things like intervertebral disc disease, sometimes they'll get tumors, sometimes they'll get things like degenerative myelopathy. But the most common thing that we see that causes rear limb weakness in adult to older pugs is what's called a subarachnoid diverticulum. There are a handful of other names that neurologists have used in the past that you might come across, things like facet hypoplasia or subarachnoid cyst. The word that I use most commonly is subarachnoid diverticulum. Basically what it is, it's a fluid pocket on the outside of the spinal cord that causes compression on the spinal cord, and that causes our symptoms of rear limb weakness. No one really knows why it happens, but we classically see it in older pugs, and many times they actually have a malformation in the bones of their vertebral column that I believe causes mild instability. Many times we see a mild disc bulge at that site, and my theory is that there is chronic irritation to the spinal cord and the coverings of the spinal cord. And the subarachnoid space, which is where the fluid or the CSF lives, at surgery I often find that the spider-like web in the subarachnoid space is just much thickened, almost has a scar tissue. So the way that we diagnose that, and the way that we quite frankly diagnose all those other things like a slipped disc or tumor or meningitis, is by an MRI. So that's what I'd recommend for Josie. And that will show us what the underlying cause is, and by knowing what the underlying cause is, we'll have the best chance of trying to help her.
While Josie's parent made the decision on whether to proceed with an MRI or not, Dr. Wong went in to see his next patient. Clifford is an 8-year-old dachshund who came in for his 3-week recheck. Back in June, Clifford presented for inability to move both pelvic limbs. His MRI showed a slipped disc at L2, L3, and a hemilaminectomy was performed. He is doing well after surgery, is comfortable in walking, but a little uncoordinated. Back at the imaging department, the team wrapped up Maui's MRI, which revealed a disc herniation in his neck at C3, C4. Dr. Wong performed a ventral slot surgery on Maui under the same anesthetic period. A moderate amount of calcified disc material was removed from the canal, relieving the spinal cord compression. After surgery, the team prepared to MRI Josie. Her MRI revealed a few bulging intervertebral discs along with a subarachnoid diverticulum. Without treatment, this condition is slowly progressive. Since Josie is walking relatively well, Dr. Wong recommended to start with conservative management through rest and prednisone. If Josie's gait doesn't improve or she continues to get worse despite this treatment, then surgery will most likely be recommended.
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. Hope you found something of value. If you did, feel free to give us a comment, give us a like, share it with someone that you think might get something out of it.